So let's make some weird, obnoxious noises today. Today I'm going to give you my favorite chords and progressions. So the first chord or chords or chord progressions I'm going to give you is from one of my songs which hasn't been released yet. Let me tell you the name. It's called Pale Hate. It will be up soon, I solemnly assure you. So let's take a look at what the chords are in that song. Let's jump into it. So first let's hear what it sounds like. Beautiful. So let's take a look at what the chords are. First chord is, no, it's not our regular D here. Let's zoom in, see how we can spice it up. So as I told, this is not our regular D, but instead what we're going to do is take this index finger from the 2nd fret of the G string and put it on the 2nd fret of the A string. So now you get something more airy sounding. So this is our first chord, and this one is called a D6. So you have your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, you have your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the high E, and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. So you get, and every other string is ringing open, so you get kind of an airy sound. Beautiful. So this is D6, our first chord. Let's look at the next. Chord has a slight different shift from this, but the shape remains the same. So you get something like this at first, then you shift it up to the 7th fret, and there you get an E minor open shape. And by open I mean it's exactly an E minor chord, but the notes of the E minor chord are spaced more than an octave. I'll cover that in a later lesson, in a later video, but now let's look at the chord. Now this one is the most beautiful chord I have ever played or ever recognized. Beautiful. So what the hell is going on here? We have our index finger on the 7th fret and the middle finger on the high E on the 7th fret as well, and the 3rd finger, the ring finger, is on the 8th fret of the B, and every other string is ringing out as it is. So you get a good kind of sound. So the two chords are, let's look at the third chord of the progression. So now we have something a bit stretchier, but this sounds beautiful. So what is going on here, as I was noodling and experimenting around, like what chords can I use for this song, I was wondering, okay, we got this E minor, but what if we took this note and take it down to a whole step, let's say on the 5th fret? We get a kind of emotional sound. So what if I told myself, okay, let's keep these two notes same, the middle finger on the 7th fret of the A and the pinky on the 8th fret of the B, I just changed 3rd to the 4th for better resonance, and the first finger, let's put it on the 5th fret of, which is an A note on the high E string. So now we have this, and you should not play this E string because it doesn't comprehend this progression. So you start from the A string. So if you align these three, you get something beautiful. Very cool. Let's look at the last chord. Just a quick recap. This chord I just mentioned moments ago, I forgot to mention the name. It's called an A7 sus4 or a simply A7 sus. And here's our fourth beautiful chord, and it's kind of stretchy, so I will probably think that you will get past this, but let's listen to how it sounds. Beautiful. Now let's take a look at what happens. Simply, I again took this note and took it down a whole step to the third or the G note of the high E. So you have this tone, pedal tone moving around like. Sorry, I got lost there. So first chord is this, D6. Second chord is E minor open. Third chord is A7 sus4 or A7 sus. And the fourth chord, it's called D6 add 11 or D6/11. We have a middle finger on the 5th fret of the A string, which is a D note. We have our rubbish or the little finger on the 7th fret of the B and our index finger on the 3rd fret of the high E. So if we align all these three, and every other string, as you can see, is ringing out as normal, and it's kind of a stretchy chord, but I guess you can obviously do this if you practice. It sounds very ethereal. Great. Now we can create a chord progression with these 4 chords. For example, if we arpeggiate it, it will sound like this. You can come up with your own permutations, but this is what goes like in the song. Beautiful. Let's take a look at another chord progression. Let's take a look at our second portion of chords. Now we all play G major, right? Pretty beautiful. Now what if we played this instead of G major? So what am I doing here? I'm taking this index finger and moving it down to the 2nd fret, which is an F sharp note on the high E string, and this pinky is removed from the 3rd fret of the high E, so we get something like. And also I'm muting the A string here, because if it's open it will sound terrible, I guess, but if it's muted, mellow. Let's take that simple shape and move it up to the 8th fret again. So we have the middle finger or the FU finger on the 8th fret of the low E string. We have our 3rd finger on the 8th fret of the B string, and we have our middle finger on the 7th fret of the high E. So we get a C major 7. Also played like this. So if you align these 2 chords, you get something very beautiful. If you can strum it or arpeggiate, I basically like an arpeggiation of these kind of mellow, airy chords, because it gives another dimension to what chords are meant for. Beautiful. Now let's take a look at something else. Let's look at, we all know C add 9, right? Which is just taking these 2 fingers from G chord and then shifting down to the relative 2 strings beneath this. This is C9. But what if we move that up to a whole step? We get a D add 9. Oh, beautiful. So we have 3 chords right here. First one is G major 7. Second one is C major 7. And the third one is D add 9. So basically you have your index finger on the 4th fret of the D string. You have your middle finger on the 5th fret of the A string. and these two fingers are aligned on the 5th fret, same, but on the B and on the high E string. So you get something like beautiful. You can add the E string also, so it gets a little bit of flavor. Beautiful. So if you arpeggiate these kind of chords, you get something very beautiful. Let's take a look what it sounds like. Beautiful. Hey guys, hope you like this video. I'm making this kind of lesson videos after quite a long period of time, but anyway, I hope this lesson helps you figure out some beautiful and experimental chords. Just I want to let you know something, that music is all about sitting down and experimenting and finding out what is it that you really like, and by this way you get out something else that really nobody has. Hope you like this video. If you did, you know you have to subscribe, like and share it with your musician friends, or if you think this video deserves a like, do give it a thumbs up, as it helps me grow, and if you subscribe, it means a world to me. Also, if you are on Facebook and if you aren't following me, you're missing something else. If you want crazy stuff like this, music and a lot of fun, make sure to check out my Instagram, Facebook, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.